Hi everyone, my name is Nick Wright and I'm the DSPS Director at Coastline College, and I'm excited to talk with you about special programs and services for students with disabilities. First and foremost, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It's amazing to see individuals with so much passion and eagerness to share their expertise with our students and the community at large. This is such a wonderful place to work with a lot of support in place. And I'm grateful for the time that I've been given to share how our department works to support students with disabilities and you as faculty. And I'm also looking forward to personally meeting each of you in the near future. So one of the things I wanted to clarify before moving forward is that you may hear the terms special programs and services for students with disabilities, special programs and services, and DSPS used synonymously when referring to our department on campus. Some of you may work for other community colleges and may be familiar with the title DSPS, or it could be called something different at your college. The Chancellor's Office officially recognizes this program as Disabled Students Programs and Services, also known as DSPS, at the state level, but gives autonomy to individual campuses to name their programs. So Coastline uses the name Special Programs and Services for students with disabilities due to the many instructional programs that we offer in addition to disability services. So DSPS, aka Special Programs and Services, is the department at Coastline that is responsible for ensuring that students with disabilities have the necessary reasonable academic accommodations while navigating all aspects of their educational journey. We're essentially here to collaboratively work with all constituents across the campus to ensure that the tenets of Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act and its subsequent amendments, along with Sections 504 and 508 of the Rehabilitation Act, are being implemented at the institutional level. This is not only supported at the federal level, but at the state and local levels as well through EdCode and our internal board policies and administrative procedures. Each college and university throughout the country will have similar mandates in a department that is dedicated to supporting students with disabilities, so this isn't unique to Coastline. These laws and regulations that are put in place help protect the rights of people with disabilities and allow them to engage and participate in the same activities as other students, utilize the same information that is shared with everyone, have the same opportunity to achieve, and enjoy the same campus experiences. The California Community College system has an obligation to provide an accessible and inclusive learning environment to students, and ultimately we have the opportunity to partner together to do that. So Coastline served approximately 1,450 students during the last academic year, and we're on track to continue growing. We serve students with any type of disability, as long as that disability results in an educational limitation. So as you can see from this list here, there are a broad range of categories of different disabilities that we must report to the Chancellor's Office. Those who don't fit within one of these specific categories will fall under the broader category of other health conditions and disabilities. Students may have one or more disabilities. Coastline serves more students with disabilities than any of our sister colleges. Our students make up approximately 10% of the total population of students at our campus, and those are just the students who actually identify with our office, as there are certainly others on campus who haven't identified. What this means is that it's highly likely that you will have a student with a disability or multiple students with different disabilities in your classes, and we want you to be ready and confident to support them. So how do students get connected with our department? In order to qualify for services, they must have a verifiable disability and engage in an interactive process to determine the functional limitations associated with their disabilities, along with the appropriate academic accommodations to mitigate such limitations in the college setting. Students needing accommodations must request assistance by reaching out to our office, completing an application for services, providing verification of their disabilities from a medical professional, and scheduling an appointment to meet with a DSPS counselor. During the meeting with our counselors, students will review how their disability impacts their life in a variety of settings, with extra attention devoted to the educational environment. The combination of the information shared during the interactive process, along with the information provided by the medical professional, will allow the counselor to determine the reasonable academic accommodations that will be necessary in each of the students' classes. So I want to be clear in emphasizing that this is an individualized process where students with different disabilities and different limitations are going to receive different accommodations, meaning not everyone gets the same thing. So this may be new to you, and you may be wondering, what are some examples of some different accommodations? How do I know what students in my classes need them? And how do I ensure that students receive them? So I want to take a moment to share some common types of accommodations that you will see students receiving. Not everyone is going to receive each of these, as each accommodation is determined at the individual level during the interactive process between the student and the counselor. I also want to be clear in stating that the accommodations provided shall not create a fundamental alteration to the essential requirements or student learning outcomes of your class. And if there are any concerns of that, then it's important that you connect with us immediately so that we can continue to discuss and brainstorm further. As I mentioned earlier, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a DSPS student in my class, and how do I know what their accommodations are? Well, first, you'll receive an email from our office with a letter of accommodations that is attached to that message and identifies the student in your class who is registered with our office and the types of accommodations that they're going to receive. Now, you might be asking yourself, am I required to provide these accommodations? So I preface my response in a friendly yet serious manner, but the answer is yes. The accommodations that are outlined within this letter must be implemented per the Americans with Disabilities Act and Sections 504 and/or 508 of the Rehabilitation Act. There are potential consequences for not implementing the approved academic accommodations, which could involve an investigation from the Office of Civil Rights and a list of costly findings and recommendations, along with associated legal fees should a student complain. But more importantly, from a humanistic perspective and standpoint, providing these accommodations is simply the right thing to do. So when you receive this letter from us, that's your opportunity to connect with us if you have any questions or concerns about implementing the specific accommodations. And take a moment to connect with the student as well to let them know that you've received a letter from our office and are here to support them. I can't emphasize enough how much you reaching out makes a positive impact on students and their experience in your class. Our department is here to support you in facilitating and implementing these accommodations. As we all know, it takes a village to support the needs of our students. This is essentially a partnership between our office, you, and the student, and we want you to feel comfortable coming to us when you have questions or need assistance. Some of the common questions that faculty have are, what is the student's disability, and when do they need to request accommodations? So I preface my response to the first question by saying that although we truly want to work as collaboratively as possible, there are certain things we aren't able to disclose, and that includes the type of disability that a student has. Our department actually has the responsibility of upholding their right to confidentiality and not disclosing the nature of their disability. All that we're able to share are the types of accommodations that they'll receive in your class, unless they give us permission to share otherwise. Because of this, we attempt to help students by discussing strategies for self-disclosure and building confidence and self-advocacy, which is something they'll ultimately need in the workplace and other realms of life. So I want to be clear in stating that although we can't share what the student's disability is, we still want to work collaboratively with you and share whatever we can without breaking confidentiality. Now, regarding the next question about when a student should request their accommodations. Well, ideally in a perfect world, the student would register with our office before the semester begins so that they can have all of their supports in place by the time it starts. However, that isn't always the case. Disabilities come in many shapes, forms, time periods, and levels of adjustment. We can be born with them, they can occur progressively, or we can acquire them unexpectedly. Because of the unpredictable nature of when a person will acquire a disability in their life, there isn't a specific timeline of when students must request their accommodations. Of course, all requests need to be reasonable, but we do our best to meet students where they are in their journey with their disability, and we want them to come to our office whenever they feel ready to seek support. So please don't be surprised when you see an accommodation letter from us mid-semester or right before finals week. When these situations occur, we strongly emphasize adequate preparation and planning for future semesters with our students. Finally, it's a best practice that all faculty include a statement about disability services in their syllabi. It's important that students have various means of learning about our office, and your syllabus is one of the first documents that students refer to when learning more about their class and college resources. Syllabus statements about disability services help bridge the gap and reduce stigma associated with seeking support from our office. This slide includes language that you can copy into your syllabus. Now, this final slide includes our contact information, location, and hours of operation. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope you have a great semester. Take care.